Have you ever just kind of like just sat there and thought about things that's happened in your past and then watch it play out? Well, I was kind of doing that while I was changing clothes and um so this morning I got about 4 hours of sleep, and so I got up for some strange reason, thinking about different words like discombobulated, just some random words that we use. And I think I seen it on Facebook one day this week. Anyway, it's just kind of funny. And anyway, so I took my morning medication and I got me a Dr. Pepper, and I have an iron griddle that I have washed all of the grease, the oil, everything off of it, and am re-seasoning it. Last night around, I want to say 6:30, I guess it was. I can't remember if my husband was in bed or if he was playing his game, because he went over and played a little bit of Xbox. I realized I had an email. The woman from the motility clinic wrote me back, said she hadn't had a chance to check her voicemail. She'd also been filling in for another MA, and that she didn't know where the disconnect between my prior authorization and my surgery went. So she's going to be looking for it. I don't feel bad about sending that email because now I've got their attention, and they're going to be doing something about this. So who knows? Let's see how long it takes them. The Union Benefits Department, the one I always talk to, the one that knows about my Crohn's, the one that knows about the Gastroparesis, the one that knows me. My husband texted him last night, and they were in text back and forth, and he said he would call me today, because when I talked to one of them the other day, I got the one that was filling in for the other benefits rep, and she was like brushing me off just so she could get the information and be done with it. And with the gastric stimulator, there's a whole lot of other things you have to do and other prior authorizations to get it. So she didn't want to hear that. She just wanted to know what the date, what the study services were, and that was it. And she was done with me. And you need to know the information behind that, and this union rep does, and so I will be talking to him today. So anyway, day's looking up. Might not get all the answers today, but we're gonna get started on the right foot today. So today is gonna be a good day. Today's gonna be a positive. So that's where we are at right now. I feel good about today, so let's get this day started. So I'm trying to order more supplies for my ostomy. I have been ordering 3 months at a time, but with my stoma acting up because of the hernia and because my Crohn's is active, I need to get a bigger size, so I finally got it to work. And Edge Park is being really aggravating today. I am wanting to try some new products that are out here. I don't normally move away from Coloplast just because I really like their products, but there's some new things that I really want to try. And I'm going to give them a whirl here. So let's see what we can do here. Hollister's got this new ring that is even convex, and I need convex, everything convex, because of one of my surgeries, and it really messed with me. So yeah, I really need it to be a certain way. I'm very particular about the things I use. I really like these. Sometimes the insurance company likes to give me a big deal about, and see, this is what I'm dealing with today, people. It is not wanting to work with me. It is being a pain in my side. Actually, that was actually pretty quickly. But it hasn't been like that. It's just really aggravating me. Some of these things you really gotta be careful because it says wipes. And I like the little itty bitty 2x2s. And when it says wipes, it's like a baby wipe, and I don't like those. So, I get those Coloplast Prep Medicaid, but I like those other ones better. My infusion company sends them to me. But, and I use them for, my port. And why am I not seeing, I didn't see any adhesive removers. Okay, well, I'm not going to add any because, you know, I really don't need them. So, yeah, this is what I'm going to be doing for the next 15 minutes, fighting Edge Park. So this is just part of what I'm going to be doing today. It's so much fun. What I was thinking about is, I don't know. I've talked about my past a lot, and I've talked about my childhood, and about me being adopted, and my parents both being deceased, and I think I've even mentioned in there my dad was shot and killed in the line of duty, and it was plotted, it was murder. And but I don't know how far and how deep I got into that. And I don't know how and if I ever kind of talked about other things that happened. So I was adopted in 1985. It went through on my mom's birthday on May 17th. May 31st, my dad was sent out on a call out into the Rogersville community out by the dam. No, out by the church, not the dam, out by the church. And where I don't know how many people were actually there, but he was shot 3 times. And later we found out that it was a woman involved. She was the one that shot him, or she took the blame for it. I don't really know that she actually did it, but a year later she attempted to shoot her son-in-law. So if she's able and attempting to shoot her son-in-law, then she's perfectly capable of shooting my dad. They told my mom that he had only been shot twice. When she went to Kirby and Sons, she was told that it was 3 times. And one of the shots, that had he lived, he would have been paralyzed from the arms down. And my dad was a very active, healthy man. He would have been miserable. So, in a way, he was blessed in the fact that he did go on. So, Warren County swept this underneath the rug. She didn't get anything for it until the following year, when she attempted to kill her son-in-law. And actually, when she shot him in the butt, and it hit his wallet. Everything about my dad's death has been kept hush-hush. I remember so many people. We had a huge house. And when you're young, you don't realize how lucky you are. You don't realize how much better off you were than other kids until you get older. And so anyway, every room in our house was filled. We had sleeping bags in the dining room. We had some people come to the house to talk to my mom. They wanted to talk to her privately. Well, me being me and me being sneaky and wanting to know what they were talking about, kind of hid just around the corner and listened in. And basically, this is what they told my mom. If you talk to anyone, you tell anyone anything, you will be up the creek without a paddle, just like he was. So, she had already contacted 2020 and 60 Minutes, and they wanted to investigate and work on this case. So, she had to tell them no. So, over the years, nothing. When I got on Facebook, I had WBKO's editor-in-chief following me. Didn't bother me, I didn't care. But I had other people following me that was trying to be sneaky and mean and rude and was sending me messages, and so I made a comment, and I think she thought maybe I was directing at her, but it wasn't. And so she quit following me after 2 years. I even called the newspaper, and they wanted me to pay for the clippings from that year, and I'm like, no, I'll just search for them on the internet. It took a lot of searching. There was not a lot said about my dad's death. In fact, they had to retract some statements, and when they retracted it, It was in a very small spot, little print, and even WBKO, they had to, as Barb Dubzak, she had to apologize because of some of the things she had said on the news, because they're trying to make it sound like it wasn't an affair. One, this woman was an alcoholic. My dad despised alcoholics. He didn't want to put up with them. He didn't like them. He just, no. When they went and picked up my dad's car, it did not go to forensics. They brought the car back. They parked it at our house. Nothing was cleaned up. There was blood, fatty tissue, all over the car. So to be 11 years old, and I think my sister was 9, to go out to the car and to see that, it's a bit traumatizing. I have since tried talking to the sheriff that my dad really liked. At the time, there was it was time for the running for the sheriff, and Peanut Gaines and Wayne Constant was running. Wayne Constant had been the sheriff for some time, and Peanut Gaines was running against him. My dad wasn't voting for Wayne Constant. He was voting for Peanut Gaines. And so anyway, that year Wayne Constant won. So I contacted Peanut Gaines. I'm not sure how long ago it was, but I called his office. I told him who I was, and I asked him some questions. I think he knew some things, but they have sealed my dad's records. I know of a few people who went from LMPD and went to Bowling Green Police to work, and they have actually kind of mentioned it, and they were told they were not to speak about it. It was never to be brought up. So they were still keeping that one underneath tight reins because the county was involved. You're supposed to get a certain amount of money from the county or state or whatever when you lose, if a family member loses their life while they are either a police officer, sheriff, or whatever. And my dad was retired. He was just doing this as extra because he's just one of those men that has always worked. He was in the Marines. He got out. He worked government positions, and he being retired just wasn't his knack. He always had to stay busy. And so he wasn't really old. I don't think he was old. He was 65 and very healthy. And so, you know, I don't know what they were trying to cover up. He's working with ATF on a case, and I think he came into something that somebody didn't want him into. But anyway, fast forward. My sister, my older sister, who is 6 years older than me, she and her husband separated. We're not divorced at this time. She's working in a nursing home, and she meets somebody at the nursing home. Last name didn't really bother me. It was when he started talking about the woman who went to prison for shooting and killing my dad, Francis Young. So the last names did not cross because of the separate last names, Pierce and Young. And he had also served in prison and was talking about how good it was, and you know, he loved her like a sister. She wasn't a sister, but she loved him. He loved her like a sister, and I will say, I'm not sure, between 13 and 15, I went off. I told him if he liked it so much, he could go back. And, I can't remember, I said a lot, and I know I said one of the things was if he liked it so much, he could go back, and I was told that I needed to apologize to him, and I said, no, I don't. I'm not apologizing to somebody that's going to sit here in my house and tell me that the woman that killed my dad, he loves her like a sister. That, I'm not, it will never be forgiven. Never. Okay, so fast forward. My mom builds a new house. My mom pays for the water lines, the electric lines. She pays for my sister's trailer to be moved from Bowling Green just inside of the Butler County lines, 3 miles inside of the Butler County lines, up onto the property that my mom had purchased for us to build our house. We have, I don't know how many acres of land, but my mom pays for all this. Does my sister move into it? No. She lives with us, along with him. My mom dies. Well, before she dies, she allows the nephew of my sister's husband to move in. So now I have a second person that's related to this Francis who killed my dad in my home. No, I'm not happy. So all the while I'm working, I'm going to school, I'm not at home very much, and I don't know what's going on in the house, because all I do is I come home, I eat, I take a shower, I go to sleep, and I do everything all over again. So I don't know that my little sister is screwing this guy, and so when my mom dies, everything causes a bunch of turmoil, hurt, anger, resentment. I leave, and eventually they piss me off enough that I go to the attorney and I evict them all, and I push sale on the estate. My sister, her senior year, on Halloween, gets married. And guess who is at my sister's wedding? You got it. Francis Young, in person. I'm not supposed to be up out of bed. I am pregnant, very pregnant. My blood pressure goes through the roof. I have edema. I don't have toxemia, but I am very, very borderline, and I am going to the doctor every week, but I'm not due for a month. But I am going to the doctor every week because at this point I'm very high risk. So I go to my sister's wedding anyway, and I don't know what I think she has like some finger foods or something, and I'm over there, you know, getting some finger foods, and here she comes. Aren't you Marvin and Joyce's daughter? And you're not gonna believe the words that came out of my mouth. I looked at her and I said, it is, and you're the bitch that killed my dad, and you're lucky I don't have a gun, because if I had a gun, you wouldn't be here right now. And I meant it. How can somebody so come up to you and be so brazen and know what she's done to your family and does that? And then, guess what else? You know, my mom didn't come up with all this money on her own. This money was money from my dad. And she built this new house with the money that my dad and her had together. There was only $20,000 left on this home. My mom paid everything on it except for $20,000. And so guess what happens? I get ready to go to my house that my mom had left to me, my sister, and my nephew. I was the only adult. Oh yeah, she was there. And I don't know what to do. And to this day, out of the three of us that have been adopted, my older sister Sonia was another child that was she was a child of my adopted mom's daughter. So she was another grandchild that was adopted. Sandy and I had the same birth parents, and we were adopted by our grandparents. But my parents are my parents. My birth parents are not my parents. They never were, they never have been, and they don't want to be. So, I came to terms with my mom's death because she died with cancer. I was able to prepare myself with that and come to terms with that a whole lot easier. But I still have problems with my dad's death because there was no warning. There was no he's got cancer. There was nothing. I don't remember if I had seen him the night before, the day before. I don't remember. But there was no goodbye. There was no... There was nothing. And then for both of my sisters to marry to that bitch's family, I mean, that is a big slap on my mom and dad's face. That's disrespectful to my dad. He got every one of my dad's tools. Does he think he really deserved that? I mean, really? The last time I talked to my sister Sonia, she told me, oh, well, you'll be glad to know that Francis is dead. Oh, good for her. She didn't serve enough time in jail, in prison. And, I can't remember if I looked it up or if I had seen it. And I messaged her and I said, oh yeah, I said, Richard's dead. She has made 2 profiles. And at one point she was on my Facebook page and I took her off. And she stabs me in the back. And she's made 2 profiles now. And she has made a request to be my friend. And I don't delete it because when you delete it, they just keep asking. I just let it sit there in limbo because, what's the point? just let it sit there, let it ride. And I had stayed true to my parents, and I live 2 hours from Bowling Green, and trips are hard on me. So I really try to go summertime and clean up my parents' gravesite. They're in a really nice cemetery on Scottsville Road. There are no standing markers. They're all flat. and but we have the vases that can be turned upside down and stuck down into their monuments. And so I'll get out there, and the only thing they don't weed eat. So I'll get out there with an old pair of scissors and pull and cut and have a gallon full of water, and usually I just get the water out of my tap and take it with me, and then I get fresh flowers, and then I always know that I'm the last person that has put anything or done anything to the grave. So it upsets me, but with my illness, my diseases, it's just really hard on me. Even a 2-hour trip is really hard on my body and wears me out. And I enjoy going to Bowling Green. That's my hometown. I would move back there, but my husband gets mad because I won't do any more about what happened. There's really no point. I called the FBI, and they kind of sound like they were really interested in it, but I have to pull back out the names of the people that were there. So I might do something about it, but I'm not sure. I mean, he doesn't understand because he's not been there. He doesn't understand the hurt. He doesn't understand what it feels like. He doesn't understand that I still deal with this. You know, it causes depression, and he doesn't understand. You know, dates come by, and I am just like, sometimes I don't remember it, but subconsciously you do. And he doesn't understand that. He's not had to go through anything like that. You know, my birth mother, she's just another story. My daughter keeps up with her. Told her, so Kylie, I don't know why you do it. She's never bought you. Before she was ever born, and I actually did go to California. When I was 6 months pregnant, she didn't do anything with me. She took me shopping, bought me a couple outfits, bought Kylie a couple of outfits, and that was it. Kylie never got a birthday card, Christmas ornament, nothing. Jordan got nothing. You know, and she always had my address. Never wrote, called, asked how the kids were, wanted pictures, nothing. So, you know, I told Kylie, I said, you know, she's never done anything for you. I don't know why you're even trying. She was like that with me. You know, there's a difference when you can't afford it. There's a difference when you just don't want to do it at all. And, you know, I don't know. And, you know, these are some of the reasons why I just don't do it. I don't deal with it. I don't put up with it. I just seriously, I just don't let it in my life. I've had enough hurt. I've had enough turmoil. I've had more than enough for 3 people at least. I have witnessed a lot of crap. It's just too much. Nobody should have to go through some of the things that I've had to go through. And then on top of that, have my own diseases that I battle on a daily basis. Even though you can't see them, I still get judged. And, you know, it's like one frying pan into another frying pan to another frying pan, and I never find a swimming pool. So, anyway, I do feel better. I've had a chance to talk about it, and, you know, I'm sure there's going to be some judgments left and people thinking about that, but, you know, I could probably write a book. Would other people think my life is interesting? I don't know. I've been told I should write a book by several people, but I'm not a writer. I'm not going to pay anybody to write it for me. So I think that's where vlogging comes in good. I'm just me, and, you know, sometimes I put my life out there for anybody and everybody, and, you know, who cares? There's a lot of people that are nosy and are always searching to find something on me anyway, so, you know, here's your cup of tea for today. So, my husband and I were at Cracker Barrel. My husband, being my husband, he wanted to have them sing happy birthday, bring me cake and ice cream. Even though I'm lactose intolerant, I will still eat from time to time. I'll still eat some ice cream, even though it hurts my stomach. It might give me some really bad diarrhea, make me bloated, make me uncomfortable. And so anyway, I got this iron griddle, and let's just say it's not the best thing and easiest thing to season. I very, very, very often wash it with soap, and I've tried seasoning it, and it's not easy to season. It's not like my normal iron skillets. This thing is, I can't get it seasoned right. It just won't do it. And it's been in my oven on 550 degrees for 4.5, 5 hours. And I'm tired of freezing because, and this is another thing about this one. My other skillets don't put off these fumes that this one does. So normally I just always just grease it up real good when I use it. So, but I seasoned it as good as I could this time, and there's some places that it just didn't bake into it. So, I mean, there's nothing else I can do. I like my iron skillets. We have a lot of them. But this one, I just don't know what to do. I don't know what to, man, the thing is really, really, really hurting. It's just getting worse. It really is. And I emailed my GI, and I sent him a picture from the vlog I did yesterday on ileostomy change. They did call me, and they did change the date of my ileoscopy. So he might, if I don't end up in the hospital first, he might want to do a CAT scan first. Anyway, I am going to get off of here because, one, I'm cold. I don't have a fever. The one way, so I am going to get off of here. I'm tired. I had 4.5, 5 hours of sleep, and this side is really kicking up and bothering me, and I think it's gonna be an early night tonight. I think I may end up breaking down and taking a pain pill. But I think I'm gonna take ibuprofen, see if that helps. If it doesn't, then I'll break down and I will take a pain pill. I'll only take half of it, because I don't want to take a full 10 milligram, because I don't think I need a full 10 milligram. If I need more, then I can take it the rest of it before the 6 hours. So I'm going to try that. It has Tylenol in it too, so yeah. I'm gonna go. I hope you guys all have a good night and stay warm, and I will see you in the morning.